Okay, so when it comes to spoilers in comedies, I don't really like talking about certain bits because I understand people want to go in blind, and if I tell them the joke and they're looking for it, it has less of an effect for most people. So I'm not gonna really spoil bits. I think in this, I think the Teddy Roosevelt thing was kind of funny. There's a character in the movie who is considered to be mentally unwell, but is played for laughs because he thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt. And when I first saw it, I kind of chuckled. I was like, that's kind of funny. But as the story went through, I was like, I don't know about this. Especially when you realize that it's that character who is burying all the bodies in the basement. That's where I was like, that doesn't feel good. But again, if you could take it less seriously and make it more of think of it more of a lighthearted romp, it may not bother you that much. But I sat there going, I don't know about this, but it's fine, I guess. Like I said, at first I was like, that's kind of funny. But as time went on, I was like, I don't know about that part. So, okay, the Teddy Roosevelt thing had its moments. The Jonathan Brewster, which is the brother of the main character, who gets in the film, he's constantly referenced as looking as like Boris Karloff, which pisses him off because he has scars and he does look like a Frankenstein caricature to a certain extent. I actually really liked the character. I thought he was the most interesting of and the best character in the entire movie. And again, a sign of the times. Throughout the film, I kept thinking, what would happen if someone decided to remake this film? And I think the biggest change would be with the brother, which is Jonathan. Because I could see a dark comedy working where this character it doesn't look like a monster, and it would still work. Like technically, well, yeah, American Psycho is a dark comedy, even though it deals with disturbing subjects. So I think it would have a tone like that to a certain extent. I don't know if they would decide to go all bloody and gory, which I think would mess with the tone of the film, but yeah, like that's some thoughts I thought about while watching the film. But Jonathan, I think, was the best character in the movie. Things started to really get interesting when he showed up, and what little drama there was in the movie went because of Jonathan. So it was an interesting thing to watch in this movie. And I mentioned, it was basically Jonathan and Dr. Einstein, who is Peter Lorre in the movie. I think were the two funniest characters because they played very well off of each other, and yeah, they made Jonathan into the villain in the entire movie, which of course, because which is how he is, but to give him someone like Peter Lorre to be like no, don't do it, don't think it was kind of funny. So I enjoyed that a lot on there. As much as I like Cary Grant in the movie, I mean his character is kind of meh. Like he just does one thing, and again, that's just part of the times. That's just how it is. That's how they did these comedies. I watched the movie, and I'm just like not really interested in the main character at all. I'm not interested in the romance. I gotta be honest. At times, I get kind of annoyed with him, with how he reacted to everything. I understood why he reacted the way he did when he found out that his aunts are serial killers. Like I had I had some minor issues. Is it something that I think ruins the film? No. It's just that when his character would come up at times, not all the time, but at times, it just kind of got a little grating. But it wasn't that big of an issue. That's really it. I don't really want to go into more specifics in a comedy, especially with something not this deep. Like what I like a lot about this film is the mix, really. It's the mix of dark, disturbing kind of subject matter with such a light-hearted kind of feel to it. And I thought it was very interesting, and for the most part, it worked well. I just, like I said in the non-spoiler part, I'm going to have a very tough time figuring out who I'm going to recommend this to. Because these are two completely separate people that I would see that would like certain aspects of the movie. And I'm not entirely sure if they want to marry them both in a certain way. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There are people who are fans of this movie. So it's not without the realm of possibility. But, that's the only issue I really have with the film. Like, I think it's a good film. It's a 3.5 star for me with this movie. But the only issue I'm ever going to have with this is who do I recommend this to? Who is this for? Because just the subject matter and the way it's presented is odd. But it's odd in a good way. Okay, so now that I'm done with spoilers, let's get into the final discussion, the final thoughts on the film. Like I said in both the non-spoiler and spoiler review, this is an odd duckling. It marries two different types of movies that often don't mix very well, but somehow worked in this movie. And I ended up enjoying it despite a couple of problems I had with it. Not big problems, not problems that ruined my experience, but just minor issues that I had. Cary Grant's good in the movie. I think the best performance is Raymond Massey, who plays his brother, and Peter Lorre, who is actually pretty funny in this too. I think those two are the best part of the movie. Other than that, I mean, I think you'll know if you are interested in this movie, and if you are, check it out. But if you're not sure, I mean, if you like screwball comedies, I would say give it a shot. If you like dark comedies, give it a shot. Just be prepared for how odd it is. I think odd's not really the right term, but odd is. But I think you might have some whiplash to a certain extent as to what you like in a movie. Because if you're into dark comedies, it's not really that dark because they do it in such a lighthearted way. But if you're in lighthearted movies, you might not like the subject matter so much. But it's done in such a carefree and kind of enjoyable way. I kind of think I would say for both sense, give it a shot. You might find yourself enjoying it. So I recommend this movie. I give it 3.5 stars. It's not my favorite Capra, but it's a good movie. And it's a good Capra movie. So if anything, if you like Capra and you haven't watched it yet, I mean, what are you waiting for at this point? It's on Criterion now. You should watch it.